So maybe you're an aspiring VTuber and you're thinking of joining an agency. Maybe you saw my video a couple months ago and wanted to go at it. But while in that video I told you the conditions required to join one and how to do that, I didn't really tell you why you should join an agency. Or, maybe you're just someone who hates VTuber corporations so much but you want validations as to why they're terrible and why you don't want to join them. But if you're both, you've come to the right place. So should you join a VTuber agency? To hopefully help you reach a conclusion, let's have a list of pros and cons. Let's start with the cons so you'll know immediately what you're dealing with. Copyright limitations. You're limited with what you can and can't play while in a VTuber agency because a company is going to need permission from the publishers of those games before you can actually stream them. Wanna play Tekken 7 but Bandai Namco are being little bitches and isn't giving the agency any permissions? Well, that's too bad. You'll either have to go through the process of requesting it to your manager, which will then be passed to the company, which will then be passed to the actual publisher. And it's gonna be quite some time before you're able to play them. Meanwhile, as an indie, you're pretty much allowed to play any game you want. Under the company, the content you make does not belong to you. It depends on the agency's contract, so you need to read it well. But generally, this is pretty much the standard for agencies, especially if it's Nijisanji or Hololive you plan to join. Both companies have actually been under fire for this particular reason. Melissa Kinrenka of Nijisanji had something of a disagreement with the company, since she pretty much wanted to own the rights to her music. Nijisanji said no, and as such, she decided to leave because she wanted to focus on her own singing career and make her own stuff this time. Hololive too was under fire for the Russia situation, when her 2 years worth of content was just nuked. But that's a situation I'll cover completely soon. Both companies are capable of doing the same things under the same circumstances, so you better read that contract and understand everything it implies. But, let's not depress you. I don't think you'll be graduating or making a massive oopsie, so let's not have to worry about that so much. I'm just gonna tell you to learn the mistakes of your predecessors lest you suffer the same fate. Lots of things are going to be out of your control. Now, I'd like to preface that Nijisanji and Hololive don't actually restrict their talents as much as people think they do. But that doesn't mean you're going to be Roadrunner and going apeshit doing whatever you want. A lot of things will be out of your control. You can't choose your artist nor how you will generally look like aside from a few minor details. Maybe there's a project you wanna do, a collab you want to make happen, or a campaign you want to launch. Well, all of those are going to need permissions from the company, but whether or not they will accept will be entirely up to them. As is expected by joining a company, you're going to be bound by a lot of rules. You decide whether those rules are worth following to reap the benefits of joining an agency or not. I have to say, joining an agency isn't all sunshine and rainbows. It's not all just about having fun with your friends, get bitches and simps, get showered with love and money, etc, etc. You're going to be stressed, you're going to be afraid, insecure, develop massive imposter syndrome, and you'll need to hold yourself together while building a thick skin. Because if you were just a 2view nobody on Twitch or wherever you come from, and then you suddenly join Hololive or Nijisanji and is faced with hundreds of thousands of people that is looking at you like a zoo animal, waiting and watching what you can do, that's gonna be a little bit nerve-wracking, just a tiny bit stressful. Money cuts. Okay, so the main complaint about many fans and even VTubers themselves while in the agency is that they take a significant portion of your income. The amount is different for every VTuber agency, but for Nijisanji and Hololive, they take around half. However, depending on the agency, they might even give you a base salary. Nijisanji, for example, does not give you a base salary, while FaZe Connect and a couple other small corporations do. Hololive too, but I imagine if you're joining Hololive or Nijisanji, you probably won't need a base salary. However, the main complaint is the super chat cuts. They're going to take quite a bit from you. As an example, Vox Akuma and Sakamata Chloe are the top super chat earners of both Hololive and Nijisanji currently, and they earn around 100 grand on average per month. Susan's platform fees takes 30% of that, which leaves us at 70 grand. The agency then takes around half, which leaves us at 35 grand, which is, quite a steep cut if I say so myself. Oh right, there's also taxes. Okay, that looks bad, really bad even. I don't know if I ruined it a bit for you guys, especially if you're a hardcore super chat tosser, but come on, it's still 30 grand in a single month. I'd say it's one of the costs of joining a big agency. They have to make money from you somehow, right? Depending on who you ask, it's either fair or it isn't. Personally, I think it is, especially with the services they're offering and the platform they're making you use. I mean, it could be worse. You could be a VTuber from ASOL and just be paid in fucking peanuts. And besides, even if the agency earns around half the money you get, that's still going to be a W for you anyway. It means more growth for the company, and as a result, you and everyone in the company gets to enjoy more amenities. However, I do recommend you just buy their merch or gift people membership instead of super chatting, because super chats don't really give you much in terms of reward. But aside from that, agencies take less cuts from memberships. So personally, you're better off buying merch, voice packs, and memberships since you actually get something tangible from it. Now, let's do the pros. The biggest pro upon joining a VTuber agency is the community. Not only will your old fans most likely find you, but the fans of that company will surround you as well. The built-in audience and community of an agency is one of the biggest selling points of joining a company. Hell, to many people, this alone is worth getting past all the cons for. This will ultimately lead you to tons of money, tons of support and fans, and newfound friends. No matter which agency you'll join, you're going to find a home. And that's definitely a guarantee. Unless, the agency you've joined also have members that are a bunch of assholes. Assistance. The biggest pro of being an indie is that you do everything yourself. The biggest con of being an indie is that you also do everything by yourself. That includes outreach, marketing, and a whole slew of technical stuff you might not want to bother with. But in an agency, they do most of that for you. For example, if you want to have the proper tech, connections, and infrastructure to make your own songs, it's gonna be way harder for you when you're an indie. Maybe you wanna get in touch with fake type but don't know how to start. Maybe you want to rent your own recording studio but it's too expensive. All those kinds of problems are going to be more or less addressed when you join an agency. In fact, that was essentially why Hoshimachi Suisei joined Hololive instead of continuing as an indie. If you have big dreams, you can't do it by yourself. And depending on the company's size and reputation, they're definitely going to help you towards that dream. But if you just want to sit by and be comfy with a small but loyal fanbase, consider joining other smaller agencies. My HoloTV actually just recently opened up an audition call, Kawaii Pro 2, and Sundaria is going to be opening up theirs next month on July. However, do your own research if you actually want to join them or not. Every agency has their own fair share of scandals and, try to see if you're okay with them. Management. Someone actually tells you what to do. Managing your own finances, getting your own sponsors, attending or creating events for your community, launching projects, and making your own merch will most definitely be something you can't do by yourself. That's why having a manager is good for you. I mean, as an indie, you can also get your own manager and do all of the above, but it's going to be much harder. Many big indie VTubers actually have their own managers, but then you'd have to pay them. Most indie VTubers can't afford those amenities, so unless you want to do that, you might as well just join an agency. Also, there may be times that you may slip up, say something dumb, or, accidentally show something yabai on your screen. But your manager is going to be there to tard-wrangle you and tell you what to do and what not to do afterwards. To a certain extent, that is, you still need to listen to them. Job security. Being in an agency is going to be one hell of a big boon for you when the platform you're using decides to fuck you in the ass. No platform is perfect, and maybe some spaghetti code in the platform gets you wrongfully banned or terminated. Unless you're a big indie that actually has some sway and power in the community, someone that can actually make some noise and get the platform's attention, you're going to suffer worse than others. Meanwhile, while in an agency like Hololive or Nijisanji, you pretty much don't have to worry about that most of the time. Remember when Mika, Kobo, and other Nijisanji members got nuked on YouTube because of bots and it was resolved quickly? That wouldn't have been possible without the influence of their company. Fast resolution of those problems are going to be quite a massive help for you, so you're going to be more secured when you join an agency. Even if you perform relatively bad in the company, you're still not gonna be laid off. Unless you're actually performing too bad to a point where you're bleeding the agency off, you're going to be secured. The only way for you to be fired is if you completely fuck up, not renew your contract, or request to withdraw from the company. Rebirth. So maybe you want to renew yourself. Maybe your current online career isn't quite a success as you'd like it to be despite trying your damnedest. Maybe despite your current big numbers, you're unhappy with where you are now and you'd like the opportunity to just change. Maybe you had something of a small drama in a certain community and you want to escape that. Maybe you yourself fostered an unhealthy fanbase and is quite unhappy with where you are now. If that's the case, consider joining an agency and becoming a VTuber. It's the digital equivalent of getting a name change and fleeing a shithole country with all the documents you need. I'm not gonna list names, but a fair amount of VTubers have actually joined an agency motivated by this reason. Hell, some of them didn't even need the money or the attention that being in an agency gave them. They just wanted a fresh start. And perhaps you're a content creator and finding yourself wanting to do the same. Though, I should warn you, while these agencies might take you even if you had a little bit of drama in the past, if you've done something absurd and cancelable, like Phase K or Rice Gum, or you've done similar shit like Invader V has done, they're most probably not gonna let you in. Minor offenses might be looked over, but not big ones that's gonna get the agency in trouble. However, if the agency deems your actions forgivable and they take you in and get backlash for it, that's not on you, that's gonna be on them. I mean, EDP445 being in Hololive or in Jisanji is actually going to be one of the worst and the best things I'll ever see in this rabbit hole. So, yeah. This is essentially the pros and cons of joining a VTuber agency. If I've missed a few things, do list them down in the comments. I want you to think long and hard about doing it. Nobody but yourself should decide whether it's worth it or not. It's going to take a lot of time and energy. Every circumstance is going to be different. But if you're in a position where you absolutely need or want to be in an agency, then go ahead. And I cannot stress this enough, Nijisanji and Hololive aren't the only successful agencies you can join. There are other agencies out there, you just need to do your own research and plot how you want to approach them. In any case, good luck to your future endeavors, and thanks for watching the video. Comment down below if I've missed something or if you want something to add. And if you want to support me, joining my membership or Patreon will be the best way to do so. Anyway, that's it. See ya.